What's good, world? It's the Great 32T coming to you live. I'm here with my man, David Lucas. Man, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And I want to say thank you to all the fans watching. This is the Breakthrough Conference show, and we have an exclusive interview here with my man, David. So, David, can you please tell us just a little bit about your business, what you do for a living, and also your location, man?
Okay, well, listen, I definitely want to say I wear many hats. I'm
Okay.
David Lucas, and I am a full-time motivational speaker and a
Wow.
best-selling author, as well as I am also the COO of a company called Just Black. And so I'm excited and I'm grateful. And other than that, I am also the founder and CEO of David E. Lucas Speaks. So yeah.
So, also, to what location are you from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Darlington, South Carolina, but the
Wow.
current location that I am at and live at now is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. That is awesome, man. We connected with people around the globe. So people watching in Charlotte, man, definitely show David some love. So also too within the Breakthrough Conference, like within this pandemic, I really like elevated my business to the next level, and it came through the root of a breakthrough. I realized that several people around the globe needed a breakthrough, needed that one piece of information to get them to the next level. I always give this illustration to all my panelists and clients. A chain shackled, right? In order to break a chain, you must first remove one link. So I asked, different panelists and people that are here on the Breakthrough Conference show to really share that breakthrough experience that led to your success that's right now within your business. If you could share one piece of information that may help bless somebody else within their breakthrough, what's that story or what's that breakthrough moment that led right now to where you are today?
Oh, well, I definitely want to say, listen, it first started out in my childhood. Okay, me
Wow.
being a young man that where some people may see it as a disability. Had I learned disability, I couldn't read and write on grade level, and so I was put in special need classrooms, and I had a learned disability. Now, my mother and father had 5 kids at one time, and so I was a quintuplet. And so it was already hard for me to be able to have identifying who I really was and to figure out what I really wanted to do in life because you have 5 brothers and sisters, you just be all over. But I'm grateful because in that particular transitioning for me in my specialty classrooms, I eventually test out specialty classrooms. And then what happened was I began to test out specialty classrooms, go to regular mainstream classrooms. Now, I've been told, and all my educators out there, I've been told that it's unheard of to get to especially go to regular mainstream classrooms. I remind you now, I had a learned disability. I couldn't read around grade level. That's what they said I had. That's what they said that I had.
Mm.
But then again, in my school district, I was the first Black African American young man in my school district. That's how I especially go to regular mainstream classrooms.
Mm.
And that was in my 11th grade year in high school. And then not only that, as I began to do that, that trend set where I am today because as I begin to go and start impacting people around the world, the first question they always ask me, David, how can this successful young man come out of one state and then and actually become something successful? Now, that story didn't stop there because as soon as I began to start special regular mainstream classrooms, I began to start going to regular mainstream classrooms. And now my senior year at high school, I began as a sorority. They honored me for the 2017 Falcon Award at my
Mm.
school, and at my school district. Now I didn't stop there. In that process, I began to start writing a book that
Mm.
impacted and changed the world, that really impacted young people around the world, which is entitled "It's Dark, but I Can Still See the Light," talking about the
Mm.
place where I was at, in a place where I would feel isolated. I felt like no one was there for me. I got picked on, got talked about because I was in a class that I knew I wasn't supposed to belong in, but I felt like that I need to share that particular story. And so that book became a bestseller. I became a best-selling author that first book. And then I began to go to college, which is one of the best HBCUs I tip all around the world, and that's Claflin University, majoring in psychology. And then what God has blessed me to be able to do is to be able to branch off at David E. Lucas Speaks. And I written a second book, and that became best-selling author. And then I started traveling. Then I started talking about those different things, how that transitioning. And then not only that, I am going to school with no debt at all. And
Wow.
so that is what God can do. And I know it for a fact because I experienced it. I experienced the place of being isolated, being picked on, being bullied, being on the receiving end of that, and now being successful and doing things that I love to do now, which is impact the young people around the world.
Wow, man, that is powerful. Could you definitely tell the people that are watching right now, if they personally want to connect with you, your website, social media, like, could you please share that with them as well?
Yeah, so you can find everything about me in one place. I tell people all the time the website is very important. On a side note, other than what I speak about, I also help design websites for businesses. Okay, so I tell people all the time it's always good to have one local location where people can find you at, and that's my website. That's www.davidelucasspeaks.com, where you can be able to find information about me, my next speaking engagement, the next event I have, the next opportunity that you can be able to know what city I'm at, the next book I have. You can find all the information at David Lucas Speaks, and also my Instagram at David_Lucas1, as well as my Facebook page, David E. Lucas, and also David Lucas Speaks. You can find that as well.
Wow, that is powerful, man. I also do have some family out there, South Carolina, I believe Columbia, South Carolina, in that area too. Shout out to my Uncle George and stuff, people that are out there. But man, this is powerful to be able to have you, in your presence today, man. So as a speaker, like, were you always a speaker, or like what happened to where was it something in your mind that switched to say, I want to start doing this full time? I want to do this as a professional motivational speaker. Like, where was that transition? Where was that shift to make that decision to become a professional speaker?
Well, I tell people all the time when you have something when you're going through something, and especially when you have a fire, a reason why you do what you do, it allows you to be able to bring out and do different things that you do, such as now. And so, me being who I am and me having that testimony, it has to just allow me to just say, you know what, let me go and just start impacting people. It wasn't so much about being a professional speaker; it was so much about impacting people. And so
Wow.
that was one of the things that I really had, was just I really wanted to impact people, really want to impact the young generation, especially when you're talking about young men and young women around the world. Not so much of just trying to gain money, gain experience, but to be able to impact. And that was one of the main things. And I wish someone impacted me, which I have some people in my circle that allow me to do what I do. But I wish they had the resources that I have today to help impact the young men and young women around the world. So it's just that be my testimony allow me to do what I do, and allow me to have that, and allow to have that push and that grind. Now it's not easy at all, because when you start being a motivational speaker on your own, it's something where you have a lot of no's, a lot of events you have to make up your own. So it has not been an easy thing, but it had been a great and worthy thing to do.
That's awesome, man. And for the young man